Welcome to Bridging the Gap. I'm your host, Johnny Angel, and my partner, Byron Nash.
Howdy, everybody.
Hey, man, I got to tell you what, I'm inspired today.
Yeah?
I want to talk about some subjects that are really cool to me.
Okay.
The music scene is changing constantly,
Yeah.
but I'm still stuck in that old bag, and it really isn't old. It's like where it started for me, and I'm starting to lose a lot of my friends who I came up through the business with. And some of them had a big influence on me, like Mary Wilson from the Supremes, and we just recently lost Ronnie Spector.
Yep.
And so I have a lot of cool stories when you go in my museum and that. And so I'd like to talk more about the impact that the women had on careers. And in fact, mine, because I got to sing background for a lot of them. So to me, that was like something very important in my life. You know? So you have any influence there?
Well, it starts with my mom and grandmother because that's who got me into music, and their music tastes were so eclectic. I think that leads into how I just ended up living my life. But as a kid, I was always attracted to the music of women.
Yes.
I was like 8 years old listening to Dionne Warwick and weird stuff like that. And then later in life, I remember I was kind of tired of like heavy metal. It was just saying the same thing.
Yes.
And I got super deep into like Bjork and Tori Amos and Natalie Merchant, 10,000 Maniacs, the Sundays, all this sort of like female-driven stuff.
Yep.
And I realized there was something that I connected to because then I got into jazz. So really love Ella Fitzgerald and all those type of singers.
No
and there's
doubt.
something, maybe there's like this motherly quality, but then there's also this high respect that I have because I was raised by a woman that I just really am always attracted to that musically.
No doubt.
And speaking of, one of the records I've been rocking lately has been this lady.
Uh-oh. I love it.
Tina Turner.
Oh, jeez. Yes.
I mean, we can mess up the whole show me just talking about how great she is. But really what's interesting about her, if you think about the career and like women in music and all the things they had to battle, and we already know Tina was on the front line of the battles, but really when this record broke, how old she was and her comeback was bigger than anything she had ever done. And that, especially at that time, really stood out to me because she was just right there on the charts with everybody else, outperforming everybody else.
No doubt.
And again, another level of respect, musically, career-wise, and just sort of forging ahead as a solo artist too.
Look what she's overcome also.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? Not only did she put up with Ike.
Yeah, and then the industry, and then all the things that come along with being black in that time
she was sponsoring Legs stockings. She was doing both generations, young and old, were like
the Mad Max movie.
Absolutely, yeah. So that leads me to my album of the week, which is kind of cool for me because this lady is also a dear friend of mine. And her name is Dee Dee Sharp, okay? And Dee Dee Sharp was one of these kind of performers that she knows how to take control of a stage, first of all. Yeah. And she demands respect when she walks on the stage, just by her demeanor, right? And the first time I backed her, we knew immediately she knew music. Because a lot of entertainers come and say, this is the way we did or wanted to do it. She knows because she ran Gamble Studios for her husband.
Kenny she looks like all business on that cover.
Yeah. And then here she was. She started out her career singing background for Chubby Checker. And she did a duet with him called Slow Twisting.
Yep.
And then right after that, she hit with all her mashed potatoes and gravy, and she did all these great records. And then because of her business with Gamble Records and married to Kenny, she kind of like took a back step and did all business for them. So she actually ran Gamble Records for a while, right? And all those, the Intruders, the Dolphin, all those groups that come out of Philadelphia there, she managed. You know what I mean? And
that's
then later in life,
too.
And how about she then comes out with a soul album after that when she kickstarts her career, and her soul stuff is killer, which I play on my show a lot. But Dee Dee Sharp, one of my heroes, one of my dear friends. In fact, we got to do something together again. I just love this lady.
Yeah, that's awesome. Speaking of powerful women in the game, we have an awesome guest today.
Did you see my hat?
Did you
see my hat there?
You want to give the formal intro. Get her up here.
I love it. Melinda Colaizzi is going to be with us today, and we're going to talk about women that rock, and which we're talking about here, right? And we're talking about women that rock, and she is a woman that rocks, and we're going to talk some music, we're going to have some fun, and maybe even do a jam later. I sure
She
hope
can
so.
play some guitar, so I feel like we should
Yeah.
make it happen.
I think it's great. We'll be right back at you with Melinda.
Jack in the Box.
Welcome to Jack in the Box. Today I want to talk about, remember the good old days with having cocktail parties? I'm talking about when you had your glasses sitting out on the counter. These are highball, Tom Collins glasses from the 1950s. And of course you had your pewter ice buckets, right? And all your little gadgets to make your favorite drinks, right? Special beer glasses. But these are what I'm talking about, because I remember these when my company used to come and my mother used to put these cocktail glasses out, because that was the good old days, right? Time for happy hour. Thanks for checking out Jack in the Box. Welcome back, and we're talking right now with this beautiful lady I just met recently and has a great career we're going to talk about. This is our friend Melinda Colaizzi.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm so happy to be
Yeah,
here.
thanks for
And
coming.
Byron,
Yeah.
my partner here, we've been talking some good stuff here, and I want to hear a lot about it now. So this week's subject, we were talking about women in business and women that rock, and there's not a better person to set the stage for women that rock than you.
Thank
So
you.
if you could just tell us a little bit about that first, and then we can get into more.
Yeah, I started Women Who Rock about 5 years ago,
Okay.
and started here in Pittsburgh. You know, I spent some time in Los Angeles and some time in Boston, and really there was one thing that throughout my career, both in the business side of the music industry and as a performer, that I kept seeing the gender disparity that was still happening for women. And I moved back to Pittsburgh after spending some time away, and I discovered that here in Pittsburgh, we were home to our nation's largest research institute dedicated solely to women's health. And then I quickly learned that women's health was really seeing those same underrepresentation and stats. So, so Women Who Rock started as a small benefit concert. I totally had never thrown an event in my life. I mean, I had, played a lot of shows and book shows and all that, but never really threw my own concert in terms of it being a benefit concert. So called up the Hard Rock Cafe and I said, listen, I have an idea. We have so many amazing female musicians here in Pittsburgh. We have this amazing research institute, McGee Women's Research Institute, that more people need to know about. And I think that we can make a huge difference in the future of women's health, and also shine a spotlight on these amazing musicians through the power of music. So we did it, and we had the first concert, and we had on the bill Lindsay Smith and Jill West. And throughout the years, then we had more local musicians, and then it really started to grow.
That's the biggie.
That's the biggie. And here we are 5 years later, and it's just been, it's really been just such a amazing journey.
That's awesome.
Can you mention the lady who headlined that show?
Yes. So,
Please.
The first really big national act that we had was the legendary queen of percussion, Miss Sheila E.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I do remember
I mean,
that.
the ultimate woman who rocks. hands down. And, she was somebody that, as we thought, okay, we have this great initiative and this event is growing so quickly. It's time now to take it to the next level, and it's time to get a national artist in that can now help us even get our mission and our voice out there on a national scale. So the first woman that came to my mind was Sheila E.
That's great.
And I picked up the phone, and her manager called me back, and he asked a lot of questions about the event and the work and what the money was going towards.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm going to talk to Sheila, and I'll call you back in a couple days. And he called me back, and he said, Missy's coming to Pittsburgh.
I love it.
Wow.
And she's remained. I mean, she's been here twice. She's been she went to the Research Institute and looked in the microscopes and spent the afternoon there. And then, we talked about this, she actually bussed in the streets of Northside to raise money for women's health research.
I love it.
That's great.
It was pretty cool.
And also I want to talk just a little bit about your background with that. You went to a small school out there in California. What's it called again?
Oh, Boston, Berkeley. I went to the other one. In
You
Boston.
went to Berkeley, right?
Yes.
And I say that because, a lot of musicians that I met over the years, fabulous musicians, came out of Berkeley. So as soon as I heard that you came out of Berkeley, it was like, wow.
It was a lifelong dream of mine to attend Berkeley,
Yeah.
and I was able to do it and received a scholarship. I went up there during high school. I grew up here. I went up for a 5-week program, and I got a scholarship, and I was able to go back, and it was so cool. Just the best musicians from all over the world in one place. And it was good times.
That's exactly right. And you with the Sheila thing, right? Mm-hmm. Do you have a story about Sheila? I don't.
I mean, outside of just loving Sheila E. and through all the Prince stuff.
I was gonna say you're a Prince fan.
Yeah. We said them like, Sheila E. I have a question about as you noticed there were issues like keeping women out of certain areas. When you went to try to start this, did you have any roadblocks that you were sort of trying to overcome? Saying, hey, you're the first one to do it, really, right? What were some of the things that you were met with in trying to get that all together?
Well, first, I mean, the stat has not changed in 5 years that on average, when you look at the music festival lineups in the United States, only 19% of the lineups still to this day are either female-fronted or female-led bands. Wow. So having the idea to have 100% was definitely something that a lot of people were like, I don't know, and kind of I got a little bit of pushback. But to your question, yes, I mean, especially when it started to grow. Yeah. And, it's like, hey, I'm Melinda from Women Who Rock here in Pittsburgh, and I'm booking this concert. And we've gone out to everybody. And we've had, since Sheila E., we've had Amy Mann perform, and we've had Rita Wilson this past year, Orianthi performed. Lauren Monroe was on the bill with her husband, Rick Allen, who's the drummer of Def Leppard. He flew in for the show. And this year is going to be our biggest lineup to date. Nice. So yes, I mean, it definitely took some time for me to establish myself and to have people take me seriously, to know that this event was something that they could get behind.
That's awesome. I want to admire it. I think it's a great concept to do and just keep it going. I think it's great for all the other ladies coming up who are younger, who need someone to kind of carve that path, because if you don't know the game and you're not in the business, just as a musician, period, but if you have those other roadblocks, it's good to have sort of someone you can partner with and show you the ropes and help guide, so that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Congrats.
Thank you.
And you're helping a lot of young people who don't understand. You know what I mean? A lot of the ones, women who have already been through this, they have the scars and the battle wounds from it, like we were talking about with Tina. And, it's horrendous what's out there. You're reaching a lot of the young people now, which is really good. So maybe we get a new generation of young people that carry it forward, you know what I mean, and spread it out and share it and that type of thing. So I admire you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much. And we do a Rising Star contest every year that's focused here in Western Pennsylvania for young singer-songwriters between the ages of 13 and 24 to submit their music, and then we pick one Rising Star, and it really has transformed so many lives because of what you both just said.
That's great.
Having the mentoring aspect. The past Rising Star, her parents flew her out when we did the show in Los Angeles, and she performed on stage for the entire Recording Academy, Los Angeles chapter were there. So we really, it's very important to me because I don't know in this business how you learn it other than just doing it. And by mistakes too.
And it also touches a real close place to my heart because my granddaughter, who is now starting to sing more, she did a couple plays and so on, and I just got her involved with one of my female vocalists here in Pittsburgh, Miriam Mangini, who is teaching her now vocals. And I can just see the change in her immediately.
Really?
You know what I mean? And it's like the builds of confidence.
It's so true.
You know what I mean? So I'm real pleased about it. And meeting you inspired me even more because then it allows me to push things further.
That's awesome.
Appreciate that.
Tell us about when the show is so everybody knows when it's coming up.
Yeah, so our next benefit here in Pittsburgh is going to be Saturday, October 15th at Stage AE.
Awesome.
It's an all-ages show. And what's really cool, we do see a lot of multi-generations that come out. out with their families, and men attend. I have to say
Am I allowed
that.
to come?
You're
It's
totally
okay.
allowed to
We'll
come.
get tickets.
Yes, and it's great. And this lineup this year. So Gibson guitars, which I
Nice.
see you rocking your hat. They made with us at Women Who Rock. Gibson Gives is their foundation arm.
That's sweet.
And they learned about what we were doing, and they have presented our concert now for 2 years, and just help support us in really impactful ways. So they'll be presenting the concert, and on the lineup this year we always have stayed true to still having a investment in our community,
Right.
and still having local musicians on the bill.
Yeah.
So to kick off the night, we have DJ Honey, who is a
Yep.
Pittsburgh-based DJ,
Yeah,
as
we're
you know.
friends.
Yes. We also have Tiny Wars, featuring Abby Krisner of 105.9 The
Yep.
X. Gibson introduced us to an incredible artist. Her name's Emily Wolf. She's from Austin, Texas. She is a trio, and she is one of the best guitarists I've ever heard.
Oh, wow.
Blues rock
Sweet.
our artist. So she's coming in to perform, and then we have our headliner Jordan Sparks,
Oh, nice.
which is multi-platinum selling and American
Nice.
Idol winner.
Yeah, that's great.
So we're really excited.
Okay.
And we do this segment.
Yeah.
Wait, not to screw it up. I'm like, all right, who's gonna do? You're gonna go first.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but we do this rapid fire thing,
Okay.
right? And we talk about something that's new and something that's old.
But we're gonna flip it. Something old, something new,
Old,
something treasured,
new,
something true.
Treasured and true. So
Okay.
I'll kick it off since I'm old.
Just helps us remember.
You could tell me something about you that's old,
Something that's old.
or that you love that's old.
I love my old guitars.
There you
One that I have
go.
here today that I'll be playing.
I understand that.
Those are good.
Something new.
Something new. Actually, I'm also still performing with my band Melinda in the Night Sky.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yes, so we have a new song that's going to be dropping very shortly called There You Go.
Okay.
I love it.
All
I
right.
love it. See, something treasured.
Something treasured. All the memories from all the amazing people that we get to work with at Women Who Rock. I mean,
Nice.
we've started to just such a family of. I get women that reach out to us every single day with their stories and advice, and there's so many things that I treasure from all of those experiences.
I love that. Something true.
Something true. Well, since we're talking music, so this is something true that not a lot of people know. When I was 18 years old, I sang a cappella Janis Joplin, Mercedes-Benz for Mick Jagger.
Oh,
Are you
wow.
kidding me?
That's a great story.
I did.
How'd that
And
come
what did
about?
Mick say?
Mick said that was lovely and fun. That's all I could ask for.
Yeah, I mean that's
I
enough,
love
right?
it. That is so cool. Right. Well, since we're talking in this venue here, you think we could jam?
I would love to jam.
We're going to do that. Stick around. We'll be right back with Melinda, and we're going to jam.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Byron's Bodega. This week, I wanted to talk to you about the different tiers of backstage. So, I don't know if there's 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, but they kind of start out, you get limited access, and then it kind of grows to like exclusive access. These are all sort of examples and my little trophies of all my backstage experiences, from shooting Tesla, Paul Simon, The Roots, Ben Harper, Destiny's Child, Christina Aguilera, you name it. Perfect Circle, Galactic, Chili Peppers, Deftones. The list goes on, but I'm so fortunate that I got to see music from that, as a fan, but then also to get to see it backstage and see the inner workings of it. And this right here, I consider like my rock and roll education on how to navigate and how to conduct yourself in that backstage arena.
Some
Thanks for jamming.